Hi, this is Sandy B. Welcome to the 90 Day Wins Podcast, Episode 8. Come get your wins every 90 days. I am so excited to share with you the 90 Day Win Podcast, where we talk to regular people living their goals, achieving their goals a quarter at a time. This episode, we talk with goal-getter Sukari Johnson. She shares with us all the experience of planning the Passport Mom trips. This is her business that caters to women, moms, generational learning, and encouraging women on the path of motherhood. In honor of Mother's Day, which we all just celebrated here in the U.S., it's important for us to take some time to talk about how mothers can encourage each other, can have communication and conversation as we all walk through this life of learning to be better people and actually learning to develop and grow our kids in the way we'd have them to go. So I'm really excited for you to hear from Sukari Johnson of Passport Moms. She also is kind enough to talk with us about some tips and ways that she is working with her two children on homeschooling. Lots of us are experiencing this time where we are having to be the person that teaches our children during this pandemic. And so she shares with us some of the ways that she is working with her family to make sure that everyone's needs are met as moms do. So stay tuned and be ready to be encouraged and inspired by mom, goal-getter Sukari Johnson and her Passport Mom story. Hello. I am so excited today because I get to interview Sukari Johnson. How are you, Sukari?
Good. How are you?
I am well. So I am so ready to be on one of your Passport Mom trips, I must tell you.
Great. Wait for you to
So,
come.
yes, so you have to tell the audience about Passport Moms, if you don't mind.
Passport Moms is I call it the 3 E's, to encourage, to entertain, to educate, but more importantly, to escape.
Yes.
And it just came out of what I was feeling as a mother and feeling my own well, and created this opportunity for moms to organically meet each other, not surrounded by any kind of ongoing meditation all day, but fun. And a way for us to do our own self-care for each other. And oftentimes we don't do that. Oftentimes we don't do enough for each other, and particularly ourselves. So I came up with Passport Moms, and it's not really just about traveling internationally, but it's about getting away, in a sense, from your normality every day, because we need that. The international piece is just really icing on the cake, if you will. So that's a little short snippet of what Passport Moms is.
Yeah, so last year, where did you guys go?
Last year we went to Jamaica. Montego Bay, Jamaica. Yes, we stayed at the Jewel Grand.
Very nice, very nice. So one of the quotes I saw on your Passport Mom IG page is, "Moms come in all ages, having fun in Jamaica."
And it did. We had our oldest mom was 70 years old.
I
Right.
love that.
Yes. And so it was an opportunity because oftentimes, when you have different age groups that go on group trips, right? Because you feel like certain age groups can't connect. We don't have anything in common, and that type of thing. But for this, when they got together, the older people were learning from the younger people, the younger moms, if you will, and it was really good because we had some really, really conservative mothers who would have never gone on trips with the other mothers, and they loosened them up, and then vice versa. So they were able to learn from each other in a sense, but not in a stressed workshop
Yeah.
environment, right? Just being around each other. So I love to see that. I love to see them just pour into each other at whatever stage you are, whether it be in a formative stage or not. So it was good to see. They all enjoyed themselves and still connect to this day. So I hope to grow that.
Well, I think that's so important because that hits one of your pillars, right?
Mhm.
To educate each
Mhm.
other.
Mhm.
I think it's so important as a mom. I'm always interested to learn from other mothers and especially ladies that are older than myself because they come with so much wisdom. So
They
to have
do
an
a lot.
opportunity to be in an awesome locale and
Mhm.
like you said, not the stuffy seminars. I think we're all tired of the
Right. We're
seminars,
tired
right?
of the banquet setting. Someone
The
standing up
dry
there.
chicken.
Yes. Yes, yes. I didn't say this in the beginning, but not to I think that is good that different getaways and retreats have that particular thing because there's a place for that.
Yeah.
But I think, what sets passport moms apart is my belief in believing that you can learn through in unconventional ways, right? Just
Mhm.
by being around someone and engaging in conversation, just naturally, you can learn instead of just someone standing up speaking to you in a sense, right? So,
Yes.
and there's been a lot of just offhand, conversations because just had it in the lobby or had it by the poolside, and they've learned a lot from each other. So I really am happy to have created something like that.
Yeah, I think it's so important. So we have to talk about I know, like I told you, I check IG. I love IG. So I am up on what the goal getters are doing on
Mhm,
IG.
mhm, mhm,
And so I saw you took a trip for the Passport Moms. Was it
mhm.
this year to Bahamas?
I did. Well, every time I decide to go somewhere, I go. Every time I decide to take mothers on a trip, I
Uh-huh.
go there myself. So you understand that oftentimes, well, every time that the groups that have these types of groups, they go to visit the resort.
Yes.
They usually get comps, which is great. But uh, with my situation, whether they offer that, but I wanted to see how they would treat me if there is no comp. So I don't take comps. I don't take anything, right? So I do my site visit,
Okay.
and in terms of what they show me as a someone is going to bring guests to their resort or hotel, but
Yeah.
then I stay there on my dime to see
Okay.
how they would treat just a regular person.
I love that.
Case in point, of course, we went to the our last trip I took. Of course, I went to the Bahamas, and they have a range of based upon uh, wherever you are in your, I can say, tax bracket, right? They have a
Okay.
different resort for you,
Hmm.
and so I stayed at the more economical one, and then I stayed at the higher level one.
Hmm.
And I just saw how they treated someone at the different resorts. And I just, I made my commentary known to them. And of course, I decided not to stay at, not to bring my guests there based upon how they treated me. So that's
Okay.
down to how maid service, that's down to room service, that's down to every single thing that I know that a mom would appreciate and how I want to be treated. So
Yes.
I'm very detail oriented in terms of customer service and what I want to feel like when I'm going on a trip. So it's not just about for me bringing somebody there and saying, "Hey, we're just going to stay here and it's cheap or second, but
Yeah.
it's more about the feel of the place and them knowing that I'm bringing a group of mothers that work hard every day, and they need this escape, and they need to be treated as such. So I go above and beyond to make sure that that particular resort um, is going to give that to us when we come. So I went to 5 different resorts while I was in Bahamas. 5.
Wow.
So you can imagine hopping for one, doing the site visit, then staying there, doing all the amenities, doing
Yeah.
eating there, eating at the restaurants. I mean,
Yeah.
everything. And of course, I showcased the moms and let them know that I was there,
Yeah.
and taking notes every step of the way. And I stayed there 10 days. Can you imagine?
That's a long
That's
time.
10 days. And then I went out and I did the locals, and I partaked in that as well, from a cultural standpoint, to see some things we could do off property that was, of course, safe and
Yeah.
and recommended. And, just everything was, to the point where I researched it for myself, and I saw it aided, uh, you know, just made sure that I felt comfortable with every decision that I made before I made it, if that
Yes.
makes sense. So I was happy about that. I was disappointed, as you know, when
Yes.
COVID happened.
Yes. As we
Right?
all. Yes.
hmm So what happened was, I was looking at it when the virus came, and I was saying to myself, okay, do I shift? Because the thing about it is when you're in contract with the hotel, you're in contract with the hotel, right?
Yes.
And so it doesn't matter what's going on, So I had to make a decision very soon, and I thought it was best. And at that time, there was no cases there, but I wanted to ensure that I didn't want to take my mom's out of the country
Yeah.
with the notion that it was going international. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I said, okay, let me pick somewhere else where mothers can still feel like they're going somewhere, but I'm not taking them out the country. We could still connect in a different way. So I shifted to New Orleans. And child, I shifted to New Orleans, and I have, I'm familiar with New Orleans. I've
Yeah.
been there a long time. I have a lot of people that I connect with in New Orleans that was going to show us a good time.
Mhm.
Again, did the research at the hotel that we were going to go. Did the same thing, and put it out there. I did a survey to see if people was okay with going. They said they were,
Yeah.
and I put it out there. And I want to say, I won't even say it's maybe it was at least a month in, and New Orleans had one of the higher cases in
In the
and
country. Yeah.
right in the
Yeah.
United States in terms of the COVID-19. I say, you got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Well, because of the, everything New Orleans is,
Yes.
you're congregating with each other. So, Mardi Gras, everything is a festival. So they
Yes.
don't know anything about any kind of separation. So, so, I was I was hurt. I was hurt when that happened. I said, "Oh no!" And people were texting me and emailing me, "Are we still going?" And
Yeah.
yeah, and I had to really think through that um point, because the thing about the thing for me is different than the other groups. I'm taking mothers, right?
Yes.
So you're not going necessarily with your spouse, your family, your friends, your cousins. I'm taking
Exactly.
mothers out of the household, and so my position is very different.
Yes.
So I felt like I needed to just completely just say no, we're not going anywhere. Let's be safe.
Mhm.
Refund everybody their money back, and just let's figure out what this is. And that's what I
Yes.
did. That's what I did. For me, it's not about trying to push a situation for, monetary gain. It's about It's about making sure that mothers are informed and kept safe, because I wouldn't want someone taking me on a trip and wasn't well informed about what's going on. So
Totally.
that's my stance on it. So yeah, I had to do it.
Totally. Well, I appreciate your thoroughness, and I'm sure all the passport moms do as well, because that is exactly what you said. You have to take into account the families that would be affected if anything would occur,
Right,
and you just don't
exactly.
want to have that
No,
be a situation
no,
that you would deal with, and that
right,
makes
ever,
perfect sense.
ever, right, right, right. So it
So
hurt me to
yeah,
my heart.
I'm sure it did. This goal getter really has me inspired. I hope you are as well. This is Sandy B, and I am excited that you are here and you chose to listen to this podcast so you can be encouraged and you can go get your wins, because you too can be a goal getter. If you'd like to hear more, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Download this podcast, share it with your friends, and leave a comment, leave a review. Hopefully, it's positive. We will definitely take those, and just continue to allow yourself to plan and prepare and envision your 90-day wins. Enjoy. So let's, along the lines of families, let's
Right.
shift a little and talk about homeschooling, because
Okay.
I'm sure some of these same mamas are like, now I have to be the teacher.
Right.
And a mama like me, thank goodness, my daughter's a little older, and so she can handle
Mhm.
her homeschool
Mhm.
work, but it still is like, can you give me a second? Because
Mhm.
I've got to answer this question for my
Mhm.
job, because I'm working from home as
Right.
well as you are working on school stuff. So you
Right.
got to give mama this time so mama can do this. I'm finishing
Mhm.
up this Zoom that I just figured out how to use. Like,
Right.
you know,
Right. All of it. All of it.
so what
Oh,
would you encourage passport moms that now have this other responsibility? Because it's a difference of having homework to help
it
a child
is.
with than being that
It is.
primary teacher. And with
Oh
your
man.
children, so
Oh
help
man.
us.
Yes. Yes. I have my children are 8 and 5.
Wow.
So, when this first happened, I was like every other parent, like, you got to be kidding me, right?
Yeah.
And what was it going to entail, and how was it going to shift my dynamic in my mornings, and
Yes.
how I flow with my husband, everything, right?
Yes.
Because uh, we have a business outside of this that we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I run. And so the first thing for me was to get organized and how the day would go. And so that I'm giving time to each child, myself, and my husband. And so that's how I had to construct my family. I just believe in being organized, period. So you're not
Amen.
all over the place and trying to
Yes.
figure it out as you go. So
Yes.
if you're logically savvy, great. But if you're not, then you have to learn. Get on YouTube, figure it out. We call it YouTube University, right? So figure out what you don't know. There's so many videos on homeschooling, routines, scheduling, and different things that you can learn to incorporate into your own life, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I believe in, first and foremost, being organized from sun up. Even when your teacher gives the schedule, I was having a meeting with my 8-year-old. Like, this is how it's going to go. This is the room that you're going to be in. This is your setup.
Yeah.
And also, our kids are resilient. So giving them ownership too over over the
Yeah.
situation, right?
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
being so hard on myself if I don't have it all together. And saying, this is a learning curve for both of us, but
Yes.
eventually, it'll work itself out. But we had a meeting saying, okay, this is different. Okay. And this is the instructions, but we're going to be just fine. And giving that comfort to the both of them. Of course, my son, he's running all over the place and doing the most. Having to deal with him has been, challenging. But at the same time, again, just talking to him and saying, okay, this is how we're doing it. We're going to make it fun. And, and having that kind of positive attitude and looking at it like, this is not a drudgery. Yes, this is different. No, you're not around your friends, but this is going to be just as exciting. I mean, you have to really sell it to yourself before you can sell it to anybody else. Right.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. And again, I just think that as parents, you shouldn't be hard on yourself. I mean, this is a new norm and this is different for everybody, right? So
Yes.
we're all learning. That's why, you hear all the time, we're in this together. So if there's somebody that you need to call, there's groups, they got groups called Surviving Homeschool that, that people are into and to check in with for, support, then, you do that. It's people out there that are going through the same thing. But the bottom line is, yeah, just don't be so hard on yourself, and it's gonna work itself out.
Yes, there's a few things that I like you said there, but one of the things that I think is very important is organization. With the 90 Day Wins podcast, I'm all about being organized and
Mhm,
planning
mhm.
and as much as you can, right? And so I did notice it seems like your son is encouraging you to possibly do to write a book. I saw
Oh
something.
my gosh, they gave me the reason, so I have, two books, and so when I became a children's author, it was inspired by my kids.
Yeah.
But my son, as of lately, has just been giving me all kinds of ideas. And there's a shortage of, black and brown
Yes,
books for
ma'am.
years, so it's really something that, I'm looking into doing more of. And
Do
he
it.
is, yeah, yeah. So he comes up with things. He came up with topics, things he wants to talk about, names of the books, and he's just
Yes.
really, you know, uh, um, what's the word? He just has a strong imagination. He just comes out of nowhere, just talking about different things we can do, and
Yeah.
having robots around the house that can help us. He's out there with it. So I'm
I
like,
love it.
okay, okay. So yeah, I
I
definitely have a
love it.
few ideas that I want to put in and incorporate with his imagination, and also tie it back into kids reading more and being lovers of books, lovers of storytelling, and making it cool again, right? So
Totally.
yeah.
And the fact
So
that he's inspired to come up with the ideas, I think it's so important.
yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Make the kids feel like it's them, right?
Totally.
Them doing it.
And
Yeah, and
boys, that age too. Yeah, just full of energy and fun, fun,
yes,
fun.
full of energy. Yeah, they have characters in their head already that they're always acting out at the house. They're always three or four different people. And
I
so,
love it.
we got to bring that to life in a storytelling way. And so I'm looking forward to it. I hope to, get that done this year. So we'll see.
Well, I think that it is awesome that you would provide a opportunity for moms to escape, to be educated with each other and to encourage each other. And I am so glad that you would share a little with us some of the things that you have going on and how you pivot and make the changes based on what is now occurring. So, could you share with us just a little bit of some of the things that you're planning and preparing for as you move forward with the new changes of how we're moving?
Well, now, it's just really about, connecting more with moms in a digital way, right?
Okay.
So, I'm going to be using Zoom more
Hmm.
and connecting with moms not only in the U.S. but also abroad. and I'm looking forward to that, and introducing the other moms to them as well. I'm going to be setting up different things where we can learn from each other, and especially if you're an entrepreneur, I'm going to be setting up ways for moms to learn from each other, and I'll have different trainings that will be coming out. I believe in just letting your hair down and just dancing. I love to dance, by the way. So I can't
Yeah,
dance that great, but I do love to dance.
it's all
And
good.
yeah, so yeah, but basically, yeah. I mean, I was doing dine arounds before this, where we were going to different restaurants to learn about the culture. So if you couldn't actually travel, then let's go to a restaurant that has Indian food and representation of India. And then we did
Yeah.
Ethiopian food, and so on and so forth. Jamaican. We went to so now, but we can't do that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is to bring it in a digitized format, is best way that still while educating them. Sometimes we stick at the same restaurants and we go to the same places because we're not familiar with the culture, right?
Yeah.
We're not familiar with the culture. We're not familiar with the food. We can't read the menu. We don't know what this is. So that was the reason why I did the dine around. Now it's about bringing it in a way that people can understand it online and connect that way. So I've been in touch with some chefs and figuring out a way that all moms can learn as well. So when we go dine, we're educated more on that culture and what they eat and that type of thing. So I'm working that plan out. So look out for that. There's a lot of things coming down to the pipe, but the main thing is just connecting us, right? Because no
Yes.
matter where you're from, United States or not, and we're mothers and we have the same struggles,
Yes.
and that's what I wanted everybody to know and to feel.
Well, I think that's a great goal, to encourage mothers to know that they're not alone and they have a safe place where they can learn and grow and fellowship with each other.
Right.
So I look forward to having you back on the show so you can tell us all the exciting things that have occurred. And I look forward to being involved and seeing some of those
Yes.
seminars and
Yes.
learning and engaging with the ladies, because I
Yes.
agree, it is so important to have a community where you can be comfortable and learn
You
from and
be
grow with. So,
comfortable in a safe place for sure.
yes, yes, yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Come get your wins with the 90 Day Wins podcast, where we talk to goal getters. You can check us out at 90daywins.com. That's 90daywins with an S.com. That's our website where you can check out our blog, where we give more in-depth notes and conversation about the interviews with our goal getters. Also, you can check us out on social media, 90daywins.com. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. This is your host, Sandy B, and I'm encouraging you to go get your wins every 90 days on the 90 Day Win podcast.